Infidelity always means the end of the relationship as you know it. But 6 things I've learned about infidelity as a relationship expert. I'm Lauren, I'm a licensed therapist, and one of my areas of expertise is infidelity. Here are 6 things I've learned over the years that might be helpful for you if you're in the process of healing from infidelity. Number 1, infidelity always means the end of the relationship as you know it, but it doesn't necessarily mean the end of the relationship with that person. Infidelity is a trauma that closes a chapter on the relationship you were in, but with consistent, vulnerable work, you can create a new, deeper, and more authentic and intimate relationship with that same person. This can be challenging for people because they'll say, I want to get back to, I want to be how I used to be. There's no going back. You're different people. You've gone through something that you can't just pretend didn't happen. You're moving forward into something new. And that's an important shift to make because it helps you not focus or compare to the past, but focus on the future and what you want to build together. Number 2, infidelity is rarely, if ever, black and white. It's not as simple as if they cheat, you leave. Many people say this and believe it's how they would respond if their partner was to cheat on them. But what I have found is that many people, when actually faced with this circumstance in their relationship, feel differently or respond differently. Now, not everyone, but many people do. Many people in my office will say, I always said I would leave if they cheated. I never thought I would be in this position, but here I am. Because for many people, it doesn't feel simple to leave. This is somebody that you still love and care about and have built a life with and had plans for the future. It can be really confusing because a lot of times the partner who cheats doesn't actually want the relationship to end. I call these shake-up affairs rather than breakup affairs. The intention is not to end the relationship, but to change something within themselves or the relationship dynamic. Now, this is not a great way to go about it. And just because they don't want the relationship to end doesn't mean that it's not going to end. But it's complicated, and understanding all of this makes it really difficult to make a decision. Number 3, staying together after infidelity does not mean that you're giving your partner a free pass or that they only learned that they can do it again. This is a common thing I hear. Yeah, I mean, if you don't do any work and you never address the infidelity and you just sweep it under the rug and keep moving, it may send that message because you haven't addressed it, you haven't done the work. But if you are doing the deep, consistent, vulnerable work, that's not easy for everyone. And so that consistent work over time is definitely not teaching them that they've gotten a pass or that they can just do it again or that it's okay. Because this work is not easy, and that's why we look for consistent work over time. Number 4, staying in a relationship after infidelity doesn't mean you're weak. Let me say that again. Staying in a relationship after infidelity does not mean you are weak. Leaving doesn't necessarily mean you're strong or you're weak. It's not black and white. Staying or leaving can take strength. You can stay and not address the issues. You can leave and not heal. That might feel easier in the moment. What's really difficult is staying and healing or leaving and healing. Healing is incredibly hard work, and it takes a tremendous amount of strength to heal whether you stay in the relationship or not. That's the strength. Healing yourself, whether you stay or whether you go. Number 5, if you tell your family and friends that your partner cheated, they will almost always heal slower than you, and that can create issues and challenges. Now, it doesn't necessarily mean you don't tell them or you do tell them, that's for a whole nother video, but knowing that they often heal slower than you is important, because they aren't getting the daily reparative experiences or those reparative experiences in therapy or those moments that you are with your partner. They're only getting them in smaller doses when they see your partner or maybe just by proxy through you, which means that their progress is going to be almost always a bit behind you. Now, how that shows up for them is going to be different for how they're responding, but just knowing that that can be a part of this process can be helpful in how you're dealing with your family and friends, how you're thinking about it, and how you're moving forward. Number 6, feelings and responses and engagement in sex vary wildly. This is one I see across the board more than almost any aspect after infidelity, because for some, their libido skyrockets and stays up and the sex is hot and it's amazing and it's great. Some people, it starts really high and it's really great and then it just falls off. Some don't want to touch their partner with a 10-foot pole. They don't even feel like they can even think about sex, and they're so far away from it. And some people vacillate between the two. Many people get triggered during sex, so it can be this complicated thing. Now, all of these are totally normal because there's so much that can be attached to sex in general, even outside of infidelity, how we feel about cultural messages, societal, religion, all these things, how we feel about our own body. I mean, all of that comes into play. Now you add infidelity on top of it, it can be really complicated. So people are going to respond differently. So just knowing that your response is more than likely within that range of normal, even if it doesn't feel necessarily normal. And this can be where talking to a therapist can be really helpful so you can share about it, address any potential issues, and work through it. Remember, you just experienced a trauma. Infidelity, betrayal is a trauma, and people respond differently to traumatic experiences. So knowing that your response is going to be different and there is no one right way to respond.